Although not exactly news, we now have more and more details about the new Chevy Silverado HD and of course the GMC Sierra HD pickup trucks, the 2500 and 3500 trucks. The big difference between the Silverado and Sierra and the competition is that these are all new for this model year. And when we take a look at the Ram 2500 and Ram 3500 recently announced, they're not quite all new. Actually, the cab and some of the body has actually been shared with the previous generation, although the frame has been changed. With this generation of the Silverado, that's not the case. We actually have an entirely new cab, entirely new beds, etc. So a lot of the innovations that we saw in the Silverado 1500 and of course the Sierra 1500 have been translated and scaled up for the 2500 and 3500, including the larger cabs and the larger bed in the back. The biggest and most controversial thing you'll notice immediately about the Silverado is definitely this front end look right here. I'd love to know what you think about the overall front end look, especially in the Chevy right here, because personally I find the GMC Sierra to be a little bit more attractive than this, but the Chevy is definitely unmistakable and bold. We have this large chrome bar that runs across, Chevy emblazoned right up front, and huge surface area right here for the front grille. Ram is making do with their older 6.4-liter Hemi V8 engine under the hood of their 2500 and 3500, but General Motors decided to go in a different direction and develop an all-new gasoline V8 specifically for their heavy-duty trucks. It's a new 6.6-liter V8. The new engine produces over 400 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, it's not mated to General Motors' new 10-speed automatic transmission, which I actually think is a little bit of a surprise, because the recently announced Ford F350 and F250 will be getting their new 7.3-liter V8 and the 10-speed automatic transmission. Speaking of 10 speeds, you will find that behind the new Duramax 6.6-liter diesel engine, however. General Motors is labeling that an Allison transmission, but it actually has been designed in-house by General Motors in cooperation with Ford. And that's why we're also seeing that 10-speed under the hood of the new Ford Super Duty lineup. The 10-speed automatic transmission is a huge deal in this particular segment, because if we move across to the Ram 2500 and 3500, they're not using the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission in their heavy-duty truck line. Instead, they're actually using an older 6-speed design from Aisin. So this will really have a huge advantage if you're looking at that diesel model. The overall cab design is shared with the Silverado 1500, so we have the same basic shapes going on here. Same steering wheel, basically the same instrument clusters available, same touchscreen infotainment system right here in the dashboard. The overall design is definitely an evolution of what we saw in the last generation Silverado HD, not really a revolution, and I actually think that's a little bit of a pity, because if you work your way on up to the very top end trims, it doesn't feel quite as premium as what we see in the new Ram 1500, 3500, 2500, etc., but it is fairly competitive with what we see in the Ford F250 and F350. The infotainment system right here contains some pretty big innovations if you're interested in trailering with your 2500 and 3500. However, we do have a separate video on those new trailering functions within the software. Basically, we have the ability to see around the trailer behind us. There's a new invisible trailer function. We have more camera inputs in the system, so we maintain a 360-degree camera system around the vehicle, while you also have those trailer inputs in the back. And then there's some additional functionality with a new upcoming Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integrated smartphone app that will allow you to control your trailer right there in the instrument cluster. I mentioned earlier that the Silverado HD is getting new cabs, and that is important because the Ram did not actually get cab upgrades in this generation. And that means that when you're comparing like cab to like cab, not biggest in each format, we actually have a little bit more room in here than in the corresponding new Ram cab. And saving the biggest news for last, we have class-leading towing capacity in the new HD series of Silverado, and of course the Sierra as well. 35,500 pounds max towing capability. That would of course be fifth wheel in the back, not conventional towing with the receiver right there below the bumper. That beats the Ram pickup trucks by only 400 pounds, but it is still putting this definitely in the top position. And that is despite the fact that we don't have as much torque out of this engine as we see in the Cummins turbo diesel in the Ram. Now, we don't know exactly how much Ford will be towing with their refreshed Super Duty for 2020, but we do expect it to be right around in this same neighborhood. They will likely leapfrog Chevy for just a little bit there. So all three pickup trucks are now definitely in the same league. And that's actually a bit of a change for the General Motors series of pickup trucks, because in the past, GM was saying that they weren't interested in the crazy towing wars that we saw between Ford and of course Ram, but now General Motors has decided to just jump right on the pile and definitely give everybody else a run for their money. So if you're looking to tow over 35,000 pounds, you will likely have three good options in America now. Obviously, we haven't had the chance to drive these just yet, so in the meantime, be sure and hit that subscribe button down there at the bottom of your screen, and you'll be updated on all of our latest videos, including our upcoming review on their new heavy-duty series of pickup trucks. In the meantime, let me know which one you prefer, especially in terms of overall aesthetics. Let me know if you like the Chevy here, or if you like the GMC Sierra. I'll see you later.